Hey ink drinkers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Em, and today I'm going to share a 5-star read with you, as well as a couple of my current reads. A book I recently finished is called 5 Suns Over Somerset by Robert Weaver. This is a cosmic techno-thriller, and it's a little outside my box, but if you've been around, you know I like stepping outside the box now and then. It's a little bit scary sometimes, but not with Robert Weaver's books. Why is it not scary with Robert Weaver's books? Because I am very familiar with his works. We will get into that in a little bit. Let me start off by reading a fabulous quote from this book. What if reality is based on the observation of every living being that experiences it? And with words, we could change on a mass scale the perception of everything and everyone. What then if you could shape and mold reality, stabilize the dream, control the dream? Robert Weaver immediately became a favorite author of mine. I was introduced to his works by Twins in Talent. They reached out to me and asked if I'd like to read a review copy of his book. So they sent me a gothic occult mystery called Blessed Skeletons, and I was hooked from the get-go. Robert has an amazing talent for prose, for setting up a scene, for really tugging at your emotions and drawing you in, keeping you there for the entire ride. I often take my time with Robert Weaver's books, typically because for whatever reason, I start them when life is lifing. But it always seems to work out in the end, because spending a little more time in these worlds helps me to understand them a little bit better, helps me to gain something from them, some more depth and some more understanding. So I really appreciate that. While I couldn't spend hours reading this particular book at a time, I was able to get in a chapter or so throughout the past month or so. I couldn't tell you which Robert Weaver book is my favorite. I kind of jump back and forth between all of them, really. The more I think about a book, the more I love it. The more I reflect, the more it resonates with me. So you can't go wrong with any of his books. But this one in particular hit close to home because it has to do with a father searching for his daughter. As a mother, of course, that's going to hit close to home. So here is the synopsis of 5 Suns Over Somerset, according to Goodreads. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but this is where I pulled it from. On the airwaves speak the voices of the dead and bodiless. Former architect Harry Chamberlain's young daughter has been kidnapped. His search for her will take him across not only Somerset County, but the very edge of reality. In this 1970s era techno-thriller by Robert Weaver, a world of science fiction and speculative fantasy are meshed together. The airwaves are crackling, and the power of the human heart is at the edge of light and dark. Beware the corruption and duality of man and the ever-present 5 suns that loom above Somerset. The cosmic clock ticks on. Tick. A little bit of what I said in my official review. While most cosmic and sci-fi jargon flies right over my head, Weaver crafted this story in a way that answers necessary questions while leaving just enough mystery to keep me flipping those pages. Adding in the matters of the heart was the driving force to lock me in and secure my position as a faithful reader. Pure brilliance, if you ask me. I've talked about in the past how Robert Weaver's writing felt like a fever dream. I think I talked about that in my review of Blessed Skeletons. Possibly others, I don't remember, but I do remember talking about that. And I feel like he has held his position as master of the fever dream fiction. It is amazing. It feels like nothing I've ever read. So like I said, I've been trying to branch out here. Now, typically, in my nature, I am a creature of comfort. I like to stay with what's familiar. And so ever since I started doing booktube, bookstagram, being kind of in this bookish space on the internet, I have branched out, whether it's because someone had reached out and asked if I'd like to read their book, and in the beginning I could never say no. Now I still don't say no very often, but I've got a good grasp on what I like. But I still like to branch out and read things that are out of my comfort zone because it allows me to expand my mind, expand my thinking, learn new things, and just appreciate all different styles of writing and different genres within the literary world. Authors like Robert Weaver have enriched my life immensely. I am forever grateful that I was able to read this book. I will read it time and again. I'm so glad I have it on my Kindle. Speaking of my Kindle, I've got a new cover for my Kindle. Spent some of my birthday money on that, as well as my reading glasses. Mentioned it over on Instagram, so apologies if you're over there and you have to hear me talk about this stuff endlessly. So overall, 5 stars, solid 5-star read. This was amazing. Robert Weaver never ceases to amaze me, and I look forward to reading more of his books. I think the next Robert Weaver book that I'd like to read is Harvest. I've got that on my Kindle. Super excited about that. And whatever else he comes up with in the future, I am game. I will read it enthusiastically. Super excited to dive into more of his work. Now that we talked about what I recently read, which was just one book this month so far, I would like to talk about what I'm currently reading. So let's dive into the book that I just cracked open. It is Charlaine Harris's From Dead to Worse. This is book 8 in the Sookie Stackhouse series, and I really enjoy this. Now, whereas Robert Weaver's books are full of depth and mystery, and they dig to the core of you, they require concentration, and they have the most beautiful prose. This, I wouldn't call this fluff. I mean, there are great heartwarming moments in this, and there are some moments of substance, but overall, these are just kind of fun reads for me, which is welcome as well. We always need something to cleanse our palates, or something that's just a little bit lighter, especially if we dig into really dark reads. I'm sorry, it just got super bright in here. My eyes are sensitive. Anyway, so that's what this is for me. I love these as palate cleansers, but I also just really enjoy these books. I am a huge True Blood fan, and while it might be like a sin to admit this within the book community, I think I prefer the show over the books. These are a little bit more lighthearted than the show, actually. So I think there's great balance here. If I go back to watch the show, it's a little darker, a little spookier. This is a little more lighthearted. There are some heavy themes in here as well, but the humor that she kind of incorporates throughout the books make it feel like a really lighthearted read, if that makes sense. I'd love to hear from you if you've read the Sookie Stackhouse series. What's your opinion on it? Am I way off base? Am I reading into this completely wrong? I mean, I'm on the 8th book. I've got a good idea what this series is about, but I'd love to hear from you. So there are, I believe, 13 books in this series. I just have one more on my shelves, so I'm going to have to kind of hunt down the last few and finish out this series, hopefully this year. That'd be great, but I'm making no guarantees. I bought these years ago, and it's taken me years to read them because I kind of read them as I find the time, I guess. I really can't go into great detail on this because, like I said, it's the 8th book in the Sookie Stackhouse series, but there are vampires, shifters of all sorts, and witchy things, and all sorts of magical, supernatural stuff in it. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely check out this series. That's all I could say. I don't want to spoil things. If I start talking about this, it spoils a lot of what happened before. And if you're just getting into the series, you don't want it to be spoiled. So let's move on to the next book that I am reading. I am about 65% through my current read for Zombiethon. Now, I had bigger plans for Zombiethon than what I've executed over the month. Like I said, life's been lifing. So I really have only tackled a little over half of this book and about half of a movie that I started yesterday. But the book I am currently reading is called Rust-Colored Rain, a zombie apocalypse thriller. And I think it's part of a series. I think it's the beginning of a series. I could be wrong. I did receive this book through a free offer. I think it was through BookBub. And so I really didn't know what to expect. Sometimes those books are hit or miss. You just don't know. I'm not familiar with this author, and I really just expected it to be kind of like your typical zombie book. Well, much to my surprise, I have really been enjoying this. The first 2 or 3 chapters, I was kind of unsure. There wasn't a lot of action going on yet. You know, it was the build-up. It was setting the scene, letting you know what this world was before everything hit the fan. And so once things started hitting the fan, it ramped up so fast. I could not believe it. I was just flipping, well, hitting the pages, you know, can't flip the pages here, but I was just boom, 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 going through it so quickly once I realized that this is good and this is creative. The way that people are turning is creative. It's like nothing I've seen before. Now, I haven't read all the zombie books out there. This could be similar to something else, but in my world, this is a very unique way of bringing on a zombie apocalypse. And so I definitely encourage you to check it out. I am really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 20 and I hope to finish it tonight. Again, can't make promises. I always hope for things, but you know, it's all dependent on whether or not life wants to allow me to read. Excuse the train. Okay, so here's a little bit about this book. The world was ready to defend against an asteroid of epic proportions, but nobody was ready for what came after. On the last day of normality in Mackinac, Illinois, Oliver McAllister thinks his worst problem is figuring out how to come clean to his wife about the secret he's been keeping. Zoe McAllister thinks her worst problem is squeezing in an errand at the courthouse before another long day of nursing classes and worrying about whatever Oliver is hiding from her. That little bit of drama, honestly, just wasn't what I was looking for. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Oliver has just started his garbage route when an emergency broadcast announces the arrival of a 10-kilometer-long asteroid. A nuclear strike successfully destroys the asteroid and turns the sky into a canvas of crimson clouds. People cheer. They dance in the rust-colored rain falling from the clouds. It seems the apocalypse has been avoided. But the apocalypse isn't happening to people. It's happening inside them. Rust-Colored Rain is the first book in a thrilling new science fiction zombie series. It's a series. From the author of the award-winning Godstones series. If you're yearning for a character-driven thrill ride, edge-of-your-seat suspense, and brain-craving zombies, then you'll love Otto Schaefer's Rust-Colored Rain. I am telling you, it is definitely an edge-of-your-seat. Keeps moving. Oh my gosh, it is suspenseful as heck, and I am absolutely loving it. So I cannot wait to finish that. As far as zombie watches go for Zombiethon, I know this is a reading update, but you know, we talk about all the things we're getting into on this channel. I have been watching Zombie, the 1979 movie. It came out as Zombie 2 in Europe, I believe. There's several different names, I feel like, for this movie. I have been watching it. I am about halfway through. I was eating breakfast when I started this thing. If you've seen it and you've seen the boat scene in the beginning, let me just warn you, don't eat if you're going to watch this movie if you are squeamish at all. I typically can eat, you know, while watching movies, but no. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. The dubbing kind of threw me off at first because, you know, from what I've read about this, I had to kind of look it up to see what was going on with that. Some people were recorded in English. Some people were recorded in whatever their native language is. And so they had to dub over it because everybody was speaking whatever language they spoke when they filmed this movie. So I thought that was quite interesting and it made it more exciting. And so I'm glad I looked that up. Visually, this is an exciting movie. And it's so creative. There is a shark in this movie. zombies, a shark, an island, boats. It's really exciting. So we'll see what I think of it when I am finished. And I'll probably update you at the end of the month with an official Zombiethon wrap-up. I don't know how much I'm going to get into. It is already, what, the 23rd? The 23rd? 24th? Something like that. So, I mean, we're wrapping up this month. There's not much month left. So we'll see if I get into anything else. But at least I'm getting one movie and one book in. And I've been enjoying it. Again, life. But let's stop talking about that because we want to be happy. All right, that is it from me. Please do check out all of Robert Weaver's work. I absolutely love it. It's always 5-star reads for me. Always. His prose is like nothing I've seen. Absolutely love it. If you're into this sort of thing, definitely check out Charlaine Harris's Sookie Stackhouse series. I know it also goes by the Southern Vampire Chronicles or something like that. To me, it's the Sookie Stackhouse series. I don't know. It's Sookie, you know? As Bill says, Sookie. And so far, I'm definitely recommending Rust-Colored Rain. So check out all these books. Let me know what you've been reading, what you've been getting into, what you want to get into. Do any of these interest you? Have you read any of these? I'd love to hear your opinions, whether they are similar to mine or not. You know, we all have our opinions. We all have things we like and dislike. All right, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm so glad that you stopped by, and I hope you come back again. If you feel like it, subscribe, like this video, comment below. Do whatever. All the things, none of the things, whatever. If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. We don't have to be friends, but I'd really like to be. So, anyway, before I continue rambling, I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.